Yeah, yeah. I really want to be very clear. I do not exist in a space where we harass or maliciously attack devs or studios or anybody who works on games. Games take a lot of time. They take a lot of passion. They take a lot of effort, a lot of energy, um, a lot of dedication to an idea. Which requires a lot of steadfastness, and I fully honor and respect that, and I appreciate all the effort that goes into making a game of any size, whether it be a AAA game or whether it be a game like this. And um, I said I hated the game. I said it was a bad game. I think those were like 70% true statements. I think a more articulate way to talk about this game is that, to me, as someone who's played platformer games and puzzle platformer games in particular, which this classifies as, in addition to story-based games, I think a lot of what makes a puzzle platformer good in terms of understanding the mechanics, being able to utilize the mechanics, and then find out different ways you can innovate the mechanics to defeat bosses, to solve puzzles, to solve riddles. That's what makes, to me, a really solid platform game. They're like very difficult platformers where it's a very clear difficulty level, and I think Cuphead is like an example of that. Very deep, like you have like literally to the millisecond have to be precise in how you approach that game. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say here, but ultimately it's a difficulty thing. The mechanics of Cuphead work the way they're supposed to. The mechanics of Ori work the way it's supposed to. The mechanics of a lot of other platformers work the way they're supposed to, and this really just unfortunately did not feel like the mechanics work the way they're supposed to. It's visually beautiful. It's visually beautiful, but I feel like in the end, they were really banking on the visuals of this game versus the actual like story. We're actually making sure the storyline was clear. Why do we care about this astronaut? Where's this astronaut from? Why were there other dead astronauts across the planet? Planet Alpha, yes, it's not lost to me that we're collecting artifacts, and it was a fight between aliens and the natural animals and fauna of the planet. Like, that's part of the story. It's not lost on me, but it doesn't impact me, right? There's the difference. It wasn't lost on me, but it doesn't impact me because it wasn't, in my opinion, properly told. And so if I had a friend or someone who's interested in a puzzle platformer or just a platformer in general, of all the platformers I played, especially in the past 4 years, I don't even think this comes up in conversation. Again, I really want to be clear. I'm not here dogging the devs. It's very clear they put time and effort into this, but also what's very clear is like the way that they approach the mechanics in this game. I don't know. It just felt so inconsistent that it went from like early on in the game where you're still learning the mechanics. You're just like, oh, well, it's me. I'm just learning the mechanics. But by the time you get to that second, third, fourth, fifth chapter and you're like knee deep into it and you understand, oh, I've hit a wall. This is all the mechanics going to do. One, it's not very innovative. And two, or I should say there's a lot more opportunity to innovate on the mechanic at hand. But then two, it's like it's inconsistent. It's extremely inconsistent, and I don't know if it was something with the variable of like light versus day, dark versus light versus dark, the daytime versus nighttime thing. I don't know if it was something with the actual physics of the environment, but consistently when I was telling my character to stop running, it wouldn't stop running. When I was telling it to not get in the corner when the robots were going to kill it with the laser, it wouldn't get in the corner. And it's just like I just don't know what to say. It went from being uncomfortable to just straight up just annoying to like being in a space where it's like it was kind of unbearable, especially towards the end. And so while I appreciate the visuals, while I appreciate, where other people who reviewed the game are coming from, I just don't think in all genuine, honesty that I can give it more than like a 1 out of 5 stars. I think being generous, maybe 2 out of 5. But I just think that in the term and in the field of puzzle platformer games, the mechanics are literally what make 95% of the game. No one cares. The visuals are like, people play pixelated platform games, but if the mechanics are solid enough, they don't care, right? We've been playing platforming games for like years and years, even before like the era of PC gaming. And I don't know, this didn't feel great. And for it to be out 2018, so for it to be out in 2018, it's 2023 now, and there weren't patches, there weren't any type of updates. That also, let me say this: there weren't any type of updates that fix these things. From someone who's playing the game now, it just didn't feel good. So I don't know. Again, I really don't want to come off rude. I don't want to come off as a jerk. I enjoyed the overall experience of playing a platformer game, because I enjoy platformer games, but in the would you recommend this to a friend category, unfortunately I can't say that this falls into that category. I think it was an interesting experience for stream, especially as like testing my patience, but I very quickly saw that like there was like testing my patience and skill, and my ability to adapt to difficulty, and then there was just mechanics that just literally you're clicking a button and it's not doing the thing it's supposed to be doing. When that happens, unfortunately, it has a deep impact on the game, especially when you have a game that is literally 95% dependent on having solid mechanics, no input lag, like all the different things. So it was a good experience. In terms of like learning a little bit more about myself and kind of my patience threshold. Thank you for everyone who's been hanging out and chat and all the vibes.